Just ask them to remain silent and ask them to sit on both sides, please. Brothers and sisters, welcome to the first Hajj awareness program for Hajj 2024, 1445, starting off in Gauteng. We are live on Salam Media, Hilal TV, as well as the Sahuc social media pages. I would like to thank the media houses, Salam Media, Hilal TV, as well as Par Excellence for the broadcasting the event today. We'd also like to thank you for coming out to Lenasia, the south of Johannesburg, for this program. I'm Hassan Chunara, Secretary General of the South African Hajj and Umrah Council. Before we get into the program and do some house rules, I want to call Hafiz Qasim Katrada. As we know, in any auspicious occasion, in any event, as Muslims, we start with the recitation of Quran to install barakah and blessings. We call the Secretary of the Gauteng region, Hafiz Qasim Katrada, to recite a few verses in the Holy Quran. I'm once again going to ask on the ladies' side, the operators, as well as those standing at the back of the hall, please to remain silent.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وسيق الذين كفروا إلى جهنم زمرا حتى إذا جاءوها فتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم رسل منكم يتلون عليكم آيات ربكم وينذرونكم لقاء يومكم هذا. قالوا بلى ولكن حقت كلمة العذاب على الكافرين. قيل ادخلوا أبواب جهنم خالدين فيها فبئس مثوى المتكبرين. وسيق الذين اتقوا ربهم إلى الجنة زمرا حتى إذا جاءوها وفتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها سلام عليكم طبتم فادخلوها خالدين. وقالوا الحمد لله الذي صدقنا وعده وأورثنا الأرض نتبوأ من الجنة حيث نشاء فنعم أجر العاملين. وترى الملائكة حافين من حول العرش يسبحون بحمد ربهم وقضي بينهم بالحق وقيل الحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Shukran, Hafiz Qasim. We're not going to take much of your time. Just now is Maghrib Salah. Usually, Qari Musa Sirat is the one being the program director at the Gauteng events. And he normally has the crowd in stitches with his jokes. So he's not here at the moment. He's traveling overseas. So if there's any dry joke given by me, please help me out and just laugh. Just some house rules. Okay, the bathrooms at the back. We obviously would expect some silence from the operators. I know you're excited to be in our company today. We're also excited to be in your company. And you know, it's a Hajj awareness program. I trust that you have pen and paper or you're going to take notes on your phone. We're going to have the president of Sahuc, Hafiz Muaz Kasu, coming up in a short while. Thereafter, Brother Shaheen Isup and Hafiz Ismail Kovadia. You've probably seen the branding of Sahuc is this Hajj journey of a lifetime. And you just want to share that in Sahuc, whichever department, whichever, whether it be the NGC, whether it be the board, in whichever way you're communicating with us, that's the ethos and the culture with which the members and volunteers deal with the programs. We understand perhaps the program talk is approaching Sahuc, it is their journey of a lifetime. And likewise, it is that ethos that we also reciprocate that action. And so in assisting and dealing and regulating and facilitating the various processes for the programs, we move forward with that ethos. And we have that same excitement that you have for your Hajj. Your excitement is our excitement. Your Hajj is our Hajj. And that's the ethos that our mission team and all that serve within Sahuc operate on a day-to-day basis. I know you want to interact with the operators after the program, after the Q&A session, inshallah, you'll have an opportunity to interact with the operators and see the package that they have on offer. I'm sure for many of you it has been an exciting day. I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm going to go straight into with our president, Hafiz Muaz Kasu, who's going to give an overview of Sahuc. Muaz, you're using the PowerPoint. So Hafiz Muaz, I trust you have pen and paper if you have, or make notes on the phone. And thereafter we'll have Brother Shaheen Isup and then Hafiz Ismail Kolvadia.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected ulama, huffaz, accredited Hajj operators, brothers and sisters present here today, and to those who are online via social media platform YouTube, Salam Media and Hilal TV. All praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Blessings and salutations on our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. On behalf of the South African Hajj and Umrah Council, we would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for availing yourself this evening for the awareness program. We trust that you are all doing well, and we are sure that you are experiencing a flood of emotions since the release of the accreditation list just before Jummah. On behalf of the organization, please do accept our apology for the delays that we experienced last night due to some technical challenges, but alhamdulillah, the accreditation list was released just before Jummah today. To the Hujjaj that have been accredited, Mubarak to you, the guest of Rahman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make every step of this journey easy for you. May Allah guide you with your selection of your travel operator, and may Allah grant you ease with your Hajj preparations and remove any obstacles in your path, inshallah. Most importantly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant everyone a Hajj Maqbool and Hajj Mabrur. Once upon a time, I was amongst the crowd. I wanted Sahuc speakers to wrap up as quickly as possible so that I could go and collect my pamphlets from the Hajj operators and start planning my journey of a lifetime. In hindsight, I realized the importance of what is being mentioned at these awareness programs. I ask each one of you to listen attentively to what my fellow speakers has to say. There are pertinent points with regards to accreditation and Hajj Mission, so please pay careful attention to what is being said. The South African Hajj and Umrah Council aims to provide logistical and coordinated assistance with non-discriminatory spiritual uplifting and create a conducive environment for fulfilling the obligation and needs of Hajj, while ensuring equitable access and equal rights for all South Africans. The South African Hajj and Umrah Council is a constituted body, not for gain, voluntary in nature. Sahuc is the only entity recognized by the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah and the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. Sahuc is an unincorporated association, not for gain. The South African Hajj and Umrah Council was formed by mutual agreement between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, South Africa, and the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia back in 1995-1996. The purpose of this formation was due to increasing issues that were experienced in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The ministry, together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs South Africa, saw the need for one body to deal with agreements and administration of pilgrimage for South Africans. Sahuc has gone through many iterations over the years, and today we find ourselves with 25 member organizations from Muslim civic groups and ulama bodies in South Africa. In dedication to its duty to the South African Muslim community in general and the pilgrims in particular, the policy of Sahuc shall be guided by the spirit and understanding of Hajj as contained in the Holy Quran and then exemplified by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hajj is one of the 5 fundamental pillars of Islam. The institution of Hajj, with its rites and rituals, is an affirmation of an ideal which we cherish in our lives, a society where every human being shall have equality of opportunities in an environment without discrimination based on race, color, or class. Hajj, a journey of a lifetime. Sahuc is a recognized body by DIRCO and the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. Sahuc regularly provides feedback to DIRCO, sometimes on an annual basis, sometimes on a quarterly basis, sometimes on a half-yearly basis, depending on the requirements. Each year, the Ministry of Hajj invites the South African Hajj and Umrah Council to Saudi Arabia, where we discuss, negotiate, and sign minutes of documents with regards to Hajj affairs from the Muassasa, Adillah, the Kaaba, among others. We meet and discuss, we sign agreements with major role players and authority bodies in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in preparations for the upcoming Hajj. We also review what has transpired in the previous Hajj, and if there were any challenges, we discuss those challenges at these meetings. We also have regular meetings and interactions with the Royal Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Pretoria. Sahuc is made up of 25 member organizations which form part of the National General Council. Each member organization has 2 senior representatives who fill into the NGC, a 13-member board that runs the day-to-day functionalities of Sahuc, and 3 officers, each with an administrator, are situated in the 3 main provinces, Gauteng, Western Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. A national administrator, subcommittees within Sahuc, and Sahuc has several public representatives in all the regions, and majority of the public representatives are office bearers in the regions. Alhamdulillah, today in the crowd there are several public representatives that are part of Sahuc. All members of Sahuc are volunteers besides 4 office staff. So everybody that you see on Sahuc, whether it be the board, the National General Council, none of us draw a salary from Sahuc. We are pure volunteers. We only got 4 full-time staff, and there are 4 females, alhamdulillah. Some of the influential member organizations within the Muslim community are listed below. These organizations form part of Sahuc, they form part of our National General Council, Senior ulama are within the committees of Sahuc, and some of them are also on the board of Sahuc. Awqaf South Africa, Jamiat al-Ulama South Africa, Muslim Judicial Council, Muslim Youth Movement, United Ulama Council of South Africa, Sunni Jamiat Ulama, Sunni Ulama Council, Darul Ihsan Humanitarian Center, Islamic Dawah Movement, Majlis Shura al-Islami. These are some of the key large member organizations within South Africa that are members of Sahuc. Can other organizations join Sahuc? We get this question asked all the time, and the answer is yes. As per our Constitution, Section 4.2, any Islamic Muslim organization can join Sahuc. We have an application criteria, and if any Islamic body out there would like to join the South African Hajj Umrah Council, please contact our Secretary General, and inshallah, he will forward you the relevant documentation to apply to Sahuc to be a member of the organization. One question we get asked often is, can a public representative, so like you brothers and sisters sitting here today in the crowd, can you join Sahuc? And the answer is yes, nothing stopping you. As per section 9.1.2 of Sahuc's constitution, individuals representing the public may apply to become members of Sahuc. Individual must be a South African citizen or permanent resident. The individual must have high integrity, honesty, and esteem of good standing in the community. Send a letter of application, a CV with 2 reference letters, and inshallah, we will add you to the group depending on which region you reside from. Sahuc regularly provides feedback to the Muslim community with regards to regulations, processes, systems, guidelines, and general information through various mediums, including TV interviews, social media, outreach awareness programs like today, press releases and publications via print media. Hajj process at a very high level, I'm going to provide an overview. Hujjaj register on the Sahuc website. We publish a dynamic portal. Those of you that have been accredited would have seen the portal the last 3 months. Sahuc opens up travel operator application process. Sahuc receive an invitation from the ministry to attend protocol meetings in the kingdom. Sahuc's accreditation system undergoes verification. Sahuc attends meetings in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with the South African Consul General. Application process of the Hajj Mission and medical team will be coming out fairly soon, inshallah. Please watch that space on our social media platform. Quota announcements is made. Pre-Hajj preparations. Sahuc has to acquire medication to be cleared by the SFDA in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and to be shipped for our pilgrims during the Hajj season. Sahuc appoints independent attorneys to conduct legal matters pertaining to Hajj-related issues. The Sahuc mission team departs around 10 days prior to the first Hujjaj to arrive in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to start all the preparations before Hajj. Hujjaj departs South Africa. Sahuc facilitates the movement from each airport in South Africa and receives Hujjaj in the kingdom until their arrival at hotels. Sahuc clinics take around 3 to 4 times our quota number in terms of visits by our Hujjaj throughout the Hajj season. Sahuc meets with the ministry, the muassasa, the catering, and all role players throughout the Hajj season. Anyone needs to go to the clinic, deaths, accidents during Hajj have to be handled by the Sahuc mission team. Pilgrims return from Hajj compliments is open to Hujjaj within 3 to 4 weeks from arrival back to South Africa. Post-Hajj, feedback from Hujjaj, disciplinary process by independent attorneys, feedback from the Muassasa and the Hajj Ministry, misconduct management by Sahuc, feedback to DERCO, the Saudi Embassy, and any other platforms. Preparation feedback for next year's Hajj. Quota allocation and backlog. As many of you are aware, the quota is based on 1,000 per million Muslims in the country. Alhamdulillah, so far our quota is 2,500. That is the base quota for South Africa. We have requested for an increase to 5,000. We're not too sure if we will receive that increase. In the past, we've received an increase between 500 to 8,000, but we request for your du'as, and Allah can only provide and make the means, inshallah. So the big question is the waiting list. Everybody asks, how long do we wait? And it's looking right now, we have over 52,000 first-time pilgrims wanting to perform a Farz Hajj. So the waiting list, because of deferrals and cancellations, you're looking at around 10 years waiting period from the time of registration. Official quota is 2,500. Like I mentioned, we get an increase either between 500 and 1,000. The difficult challenge is when we get an increase, from time to time, the ministry and the Muassasa indicates that you may be housed outside Mina. But Hafiz Ismail should talk about that later on in his program. This is a very important point. Currently, there is no ready-to-go list. Brothers and sisters, we only open up the ready-to-go list if we receive an additional quota allocation for South Africa. Please do not send us emails to add your details onto a ready-to-go list. Nothing like that exists at this point in time. When the time is right, and if we get a quota increase, we will inform the public, and then you can do the necessary by supplying us your information. Courtesy visas, mujamila. These are not issued by Sahuc. We are not the custodians of it. We don't have jurisdiction. We don't have authority over these visas. These visas are issued by the Royal Embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Pretoria. There's an online process which needs to be applied, and people are then given visas to attend Hajj. If you are successful with your application, you will not be housed with a South African Hujjaj on the 5 days of Hajj. There's a separate camp just for Mujamila visas with the rest of the African Muslim brothers and sisters, and that is where you will reside during the 5 days of Hajj. This slide is very important. Often we get asked, why do we pay so much money to Sahuc? So I want you people to pay special attention to this slide, and you'll see how much money you only pay to Sahuc. So when you registered maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago for some of you, your registration fee may have been 250 Rand, some was 100 Rand, some have paid 275 Rand. The current fee is 283.25 per person, including VAT. It's a once-off registration fee, which is used to run the offices and the costs and expenses, such as maintain 3 offices, employ 1 person per office, and we have a total of 4 female staff at our Sahuc organization. Accreditation fee, once off. The current accreditation fee is 1,842.23 per person, including VAT, which is only paid when an applicant is accredited for Hajj. You don't pay this before your accreditation, and you only pay it once you are ready to accept your accreditation. So just to give you an analogy of how this works, majority of this cost is expense in the kingdom. Hajj doesn't take place here in South Africa. So if you take the 1,842 Rand, divide it by, let's say the Riyal is 5 to 1, you're looking at approximately 368.45 Riyals per person. A Sahuc doctor, consultation fee alone, a private doctor, is anywhere between 200 to 300 Riyals per person. And if you want a hotel visit, the minimum cost is 500 Riyals, minimum. We're only charging 368, and this is what we provide. Sahuc field and medical mission teams, plus minus 45, depending on the quota size. Cost for primary healthcare, medication, which is shipped to Saudi. Primary medical clinics in Medina, Mecca, Azizia, and during the 5 days. These are unlimited visits. You will get medication. It's like you're going to a GP doctor in South Africa. Here, when you come to the Sahuc clinic, everything is free. You don't pay a cent towards it. All your medication, your injections, everything is on the house. And you can come 10 times, 11 times. We have some people coming up to 15 times. They like to visit the doctors. They like to visit the nurses. They like to make panchat. You know how it goes amongst our Muslims. But alhamdulillah, we smile. We help everybody to the best of our ability. That's it, unlimited visits. And we also have to pay a stipend to the mission team that goes. So we have doctors, we have nurses, and we have field workers that need to assist the Hujjaj during Hajj. We pay a stipend. So that value of 1,842 Rand that you're going to pay covers all of this below in Riyals in Saudi. So take it, 368 Riyals, and that's what you get services from Saudi. I promise you, brothers and sisters, you don't pay us 1 cent more. I repeat myself, you don't pay Saudi 1 cent more. There's nothing else we're going to ask of you. This is all that you pay, registration fee and accreditation fee. Ministry of Hajj timelines. So the ministry wants us to complete all our applications, accreditations, and our contracts by the 1st of January. I don't think that is possible. Based on their delays from their side, this is not going to be possible. We've only started our accreditation today, and they're planning and they want us to conclude by the end of January, inshallah. So the first list of accreditation is going to be for a month. Thereafter, we will short stream it by around 7 to 10 days maximum for the second, third, fourth accreditation list that's going to be coming out. Should contracts not be concluded by the 1st of February, the ministry have requested Sahuc to reach out to them so they can assist us in concluding all these contracts. From the 1st of March, pilgrims visas can be issued. That is provided the ministry systems are all working and in order. From the 9th of May, 2024, which corresponds to the 1st of Zulqa'dah, pilgrims with Hajj visas are allowed to arrive in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The last day for entering the Kingdom on Hajj visa is the 4th of Zulhijjah. Hajj pricing and why does Sahuc charge so much? So you remember the previous slide I showed you? We only charge 1,842 plus the 283. Whatever cost I'm going to show you now is not Sahuc costs. These are ministry costs, these are muassasa costs, these are operator costs. These costs you don't pay to Sahuc, you pay it to your selected operator. So whichever operator you're going to go with, you're going to pay him these monies. Yes, it's expensive, brothers and sisters. I'm not going to stand here and lie to you that it's cheap. It's very expensive. So if you look at the first portion, Camp D pricing, 3,583 riyals per person. That is for your camp. Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah, including your meals, including your drinks, your bedding. That is what you're paying for. Now, Sahuc has been engaging with several muassasa companies, and at this point in time, the pricing in front of you is a worst-case pricing scenario. We are still busy negotiating, and inshallah, if we can bring the price down, we will pass it on to the pilgrims the moment we meet the various muassasas in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in January, and then we will put the final pricing to the public. Mandatory ministry charges, 1,621 per person. These charges are from the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. Every single country, every single person going for Hajj has to pay this fee. They don't care which country you come from, they don't care what currency you have, you got to pay this fee. And then you got your mandatory tanazzul. Tanazzul is depending on where you land. If you land in Medina, there's a price. If you land in Jeddah, there's a price. If you're going to land in Jeddah and you're going to perform your Umrah, there's a different price. So depending on your trip and how you're going to plan your itinerary with your operator, the tanazzul will be applicable accordingly. You need to consult with your operator. So if you're looking at a total estimate, you're looking at about 6,228 riyals. And let's go again, multiplied by 5. You're looking at around approximately 31,000 rand per person. It is expensive, brothers. There's no two ways about it. But what we need to understand, who to blame? Do you blame Sahuc? Do you blame the operator? Do you blame the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? Or do we blame our weak currency? So if you take 6,200 riyals, and if our rand was strong, 1-to-1, or even 2-to-1, let's say if it was 2-to-1, you'd be looking at about 12,000 rand a person, which is affordable. But when the rand is sitting at 5-to-1, unfortunately, brothers and sisters, no matter how much we plead with the ministry and with the muassasa to look at the pricing, they could not be bothered on what your currency is in your country. Remember, there are countries where they've got worse currencies than what South Africa have. So we need you to make dua. We will also continue making dua. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for our government, for our country, that we can get a stronger rand. And with a stronger rand, inshallah, the Hajj pricing, as you can see, we're showing you the actual pricing. There's no markup on this. This is the pricing we receive. That is why it is quoted to you in riyals. And this is what you're going to pay your operator depending on the rate of exchange your operator utilizes at the time you secure your package. Another one, Sahuc charges so much for packages. Unfortunately, Sahuc does not sell packages. Only registration fee, only accreditation fee. So accommodation. You're going to secure your packages from the South African accredited travel operators. Prices are going to vary depending on which operator you select. And also it varies depending on the package you select. You're going to get 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 weeks, all depending on the different durations and times of arrival will ultimately determine the pricing you're going to pay for your accommodation. When it comes to airline tickets, you need to consult with your travel operator. Highlighted in yellow is an estimate, pure estimate plus minus. It starts from around 15,000 Rand excluding taxes, and it could go up to around 26,000 Rand, depending on which airline you secure and also depending on the timing you decide to go. Next one is your Dami Shukr, which is after Arafat. You need to consult your operator, but you're looking at around plus minus 650 to 700 riyals. So all this cost that I showed you in the last two slides is what you're going to be discussing with your travel operator, and this is the pricing you're going to be applicable to pay inshallah. Sahuc is not transparent. Our constitution is published on our website. Our audited financials is published on our website. Hajj criteria and frequently asked questions is on our website. Hajj awareness programs twice a year per city, plus we do outreach programs. Sahuc are on various radio stations conducting interviews. We're on TV conducting interviews. All relevant information is published on our website and social media platforms. We urge you, South African Muslims, please tell us what is required from Sahuc to be more transparent. If you can tell us, we will make it available, inshallah. Big question. Sahuc has millions. Alhamdulillah. It's not my money. It's not the board's money. It's not the National General Council money. It's the South African Muslim Ummah's money. The registration fee that you pay and the accreditation fee that you pay, that's the only funds that Sahuc gets. We don't go out looking for donors. We don't go out looking for money. We utilize the funds that you give for registration and accreditation. So alhamdulillah, the South African Muslim Ummah has got some wealth with regards to Hajj. Just some breakdowns I've put there. And every year, we publish the audited financial statements as well as a summary on our website and social media platforms. We share it on WhatsApp groups, and we are transparent in terms of exactly what money we have, what the expenses are for, and what we need the money going ahead. Labaitam Award. The program that measures performance and customer satisfaction, which aims to spread the concept competitiveness among service providers to increase efficiency and quality of service performance through the journey of the guest of Rahman. Alhamdulillah, Sahuc received this award this passage. And this is because of you Hajis, not because of Sahuc. It's because of the Hajis who complied to ensuring they get all the documentation on time to Sahuc and completing with the travel operators. So alhamdulillah, this is the award that we received. And due to this award, we will be going to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to present and have a booth to showcase the Sahuc system to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia citizens. Challenges during Hajj. I know it's Azan time, so I'm going to rush fairly quickly through this. Yes, we had issues this past year. I think many people saw it on social media. But just to inform the Hujjaj that we are working with the ministry and the Muassasa to see what can be done in terms of getting back to the Hujjaj with some resolution with regard to the complaints that took place this past Hajj. How-to guides. Our website has how-to guides to assist the pilgrims with all your information, how to register, how to make payment, how to use management requirement, how to raise a query, how to link, how to delink, dynamic registration, your accreditation. All of this information, step-by-step, comprehensive details are on the website. How to contact us. You can call us online, go via the how-to guides, contact us on our office number, visit one of our offices, and Sahuc will not respond to any emails. We have an online ticketing system, so we can have traceability and accountability and record keeping of all your queries, so you got to load all the queries online. Contact us on our social media platforms, the telephone numbers. And from my side, I'd like to say Jazakallah. Thank you very much to all the Sahuc volunteers, office staff, and to the Hujjaj who have come out today. May Allah reward you, Allah accept you, and accept your Hajj, inshallah. And we'll now break for Salah and continue thereafter. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran Muaz, President of Sahuc, for that in-depth overview of Sahuc and the current pricing for the Hajj coming. We will now break for Salah, inshallah. After Salah, we'll continue. We'll have Brother Shaheen Isup and Hafiz Ismail Korvadia. To the viewers on Hilal TV and Salah Media and Sahuc social media pages, please stay tuned. Join us after the Maghrib Salah, inshallah, for a very in-depth program. We still have two more speakers, inshallah, will share pertinent and key information with regards to the upcoming Hajj, inshallah. Look forward to seeing you on the other side of Maghrib Salah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, please can we take our seats and we can continue with the program. I know it's a Friday evening. When I walked in earlier, I asked the chairman of Gauteng region, Munir, where's the menu? Where's the supper menu? And he gave me a water bottle. So I know some of us will still want supper after this. I see some of the brothers were stressing going to the Maghrib Salah after looking at the prices that Hafiz Muaz shared with you with regards to the camp. I see like a very stressed look on their face. One of the brothers said, don't worry, it's not as much as my wife can spend in shopping, so I'm still okay. The brothers at the back, please, the light is in my eyes, but I can't see you. Please, if you can have a seat. I want to thank Hafiz Muaz Kasu, the president of Sahuc, for the very detailed overview of Sahuc, its inception, its foundation, its principles, and also sharing with you pertinent and key information with regards to the 5 days of Hajj. Also sharing with you that we are still in negotiations with the various muassasa and mutawifs in discussing the deliverables for the 5 days of Hajj, as well as pricing, and these are the tentative prices that we have at the moment. I just want to ask on the ladies' side, the operators, please, brothers and sisters, you can interact with the operators after the program. Can one of the Gauteng members please just have those on that side to sit down? Avi Wall and Asia, Mullahs, you can interact with the pilgrims after the program, please. Good. Thank you, Aviza. I'm going to call upon, welcome back to the viewers on Salam Media as well as to Hilal TV and those watching on the Sahuc social media pages. I'm going to call on the former president of Sahuc, Shaheen Isab. Alhamdulillah, I'm sure many of you are quite excited to hear from him. He's talking about the Hajj accreditation process. And many of us, alhamdulillah, had an anxious day or anxious night, eagerly awaiting that SMS or communication from Sahuc to see whether we are accredited. And obviously that's why you are here today, because you probably had that communication in the early part of this morning. It was a late night for the Hajj accreditation team. Actually, they never sleep the entire evening. Alhamdulillah, this morning we had to release that list. And so I'm going to ask Shaheen Isub, the board member of Sahuc, to speak on the national Hajj accreditation process of Sahuc.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's try it again. Afshu salama bainakum. Our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, make the salam a custom among you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. With a greeting like that, I think the next step is to read the talbiyah, because then we're going to know that we're ready for Hajj, inshallah. So brothers, sisters can join softly. Join me in this, please. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. All praise and thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salutations on our beloved master, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We say alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah, that we have been able to accredit a total of 2,450 applicants on the first release. And it gives me great pleasure on behalf of the National General Council as well as the Board of Sahuc to wish every single accredited Haji a Hajj Maqbool wa Mabrur. And those of you that are still in the queue, please do not despair, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already selected you, and hence you are in the queue, inshallah. Your turn will come, because a Haji that is selected is a Haji that will meet the terms of istita'ah. Al-Hajjul Bayt man istata'a ilayhi sabila. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, perform the Hajj at least once in your lifetime, if you are by the means. By the means does not necessarily only mean financial means. It also means that you must have a visa. You must be able to be in good physical and mental capacity to be able to continue, inshallah. But Duyufur Rahman, you are the chosen guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are the ambassadors and the representatives of your respective families, your community and your country. My role here tonight is to walk you through your responsibility once you have been accredited. And if anything in my discourse is not clear, the Q&A will certainly help thereafter, inshallah. So without further ado, let's get started. Sahuc would have sent out the SMSs to all the accredited Hujjaj this morning, and you are to either accept or decline. When you decline your accreditation, you transfer or defer it to a year in the future, inshallah. By deferring your accreditation, you select a year of choice in the future, and that is when you will be ready to go for Hajj. I want to just digress for 5 seconds. A few months ago, the dynamic list was publicized on our system. And that dynamic list is a de facto accreditation list, because the people from number 1 to 2,500 effectively are the ones that are going to be accredited this year. At that time, pilgrims should have already made decisions whether they are going to be ready for Hajj or not ready for Hajj. Whilst prices may not have been out, but your ability to either get leave or to make the necessary logistical arrangements, all of those things get put into place. If you are going to be accepting accreditation, the applicant must accept the accreditation before the 31st of December, 2023, inshallah. Once the acceptance is done, you have 72 hours within which to make the payment of the accreditation fee, as our president had indicated the amount that has been provided. Applicants who accept the accreditation and are directed to the fees that need to be paid, 1,842 rands and 23 cents. And once that payment is completed, alhamdulillah, you will note that a few days ago we publicized the list of accredited Hajj operators. And only those Hajj operators can be utilized for soliciting the service of Hajj packages and the service to serve you in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Failure to do either, to accept your accreditation or defer, by the 31st of December, will result in the system automatically cancelling your application. And that cancellation of the application will be with penalty, meaning you will lose 30 points. And in order to become an accredited or a first-time applicant again, you will have to reapply. And that will then render you in the back of the queue. And the purpose for this is not that we want to be spiteful. We need to be fair and cognizant of other people in the queue that are yearning and ready to go, that will be brought up the queue as a result of the accreditation lists that are taking place and the deferments that are taking place. Once a pilgrim accepts accreditation and acknowledges the disclaimers on the system, it is binding. Please read the terms and conditions and take the responsibility that it comes with. Even if a third-party person has applied on your behalf, the onus remains with you as the applicant to ensure that all the information is true and correct, and that you have been truthful in terms of your application and your acceptance of accreditation. Unfortunately, in the past, we've had dishonesty of people who have applied indicating they first-time Hujjaj, accepting accreditation as first-time Hujjaj, only to come and find out that they have been before, immediate revocation of the accreditation. Whatever monies may have been paid out is between that person and the operator, and if there's penalties, that person will unfortunately fall foul of those penalties. So therefore, I think it is imperative that people understand that what you want for yourself and what you yearn for yourself in terms of goodness must also be yearned for your brother and your sister in Islam, so that everybody who is in this queue, as Muaz had indicated earlier, a 10-year waiting list needs to come for Hajj at some time or the other in the future. If we look at the 10-year waiting list for South Africa, you think, wow, that's a long time. In fact, it's not a long time. In Malaysia, they have a 75-year waiting list, and their quota is almost 10 times ours. So one needs to understand that every country around the world suffers the same consequences insofar as that is concerned. For those of you that are still going to be in the queue, do not despair, because every year we have dropout of pilgrims in the quota, and that is then reallocated to the next pilgrims in the queue. Date and time priority takes precedence. When a pilgrim logs a query and the panel reviews it to make a decision, please, we appeal to every single one of you. Do not shop around with members of the board or with members of the NGC or with influential people trying to curry favor, to skew or to turn or overturn a decision that is made. Our Hajj Accreditation Committee is made up of ulama, various members of the board that serve on that committee. And when decisions are taken on an objective view rather than a subjective view. Because you can never determine whose case is more suitable to go for Hajj than somebody else's. You can never determine who is more needy to go for Hajj in that year than somebody else. Date and time priority, first time pilgrim, is a very, very important place that we work through. After accepting accreditation and making the required payment of the fees, applicants may then start engaging with Hajj operators in respect to the packages on offer. It is imperative for pilgrims to scrutinize these packages thoroughly, to give you a transparent and informed view of all the packages offered. You don't need to immediately accept accreditation, make the payment, and select an operator immediately. You can take the remainder of the month of December to get packages from the various operators, scrutinize it, determine what is going to be good for you, and select a package that you feel comfortable with an operator that you feel comfortable with. I think it's imperative that we say this so that people don't rush into decisions, people don't rush into something and come to find that, you know what, I want to transfer from this operator because I really didn't do it. Once you have contracted with that operator, you are not able to move from that operator to another operator. Please understand that. At this point, I plead to you to please ensure that when you read your contract and when you discuss the package, make sure that every aspect and every detail that you have discussed is recorded in writing in that contract. When our Hajj mission is in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and a dispute arises, we cannot adjudicate or mediate in a case where there is a verbal agreement. Because a he said, she said situation is something that nobody will be able to give clarity on or give guidance on. But notwithstanding that, which is more important, the Sunnah of our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says that when you enter into an agreement between two parties, it must be committed to writing. So I do think that whilst we are going to perform Hajj, we are going to perform Faraid and Sunnah, we need to make sure that our Sunnah starts from home, inshallah. Be certain of the dates that you are going to travel to and from the kingdom. Be certain of the hotels in Makkah, Medina and Azizia. And be certain of all the ancillary offerings that are being made like ziyaras and various other offerings that the operator will make, and ensure that they are recorded in the contract, inshallah. Be careful and be aware of any cancellation policies as well. And I think it's imperative that those must be agreeable to both parties. Because unforeseen circumstances may arise in people being de-accredited or not being able to go for Hajj. But you need to be cognizant of those particular cancellation policies. Don't sign a blank contract. You're giving somebody carte blanche on your life. And I think it is imperative that you need to understand that you must agree on everything that we've spoken about earlier in order to ensure that you are covered and the operator is covered as well. Once you have agreed the package, you will be expected to provide the operator with your passport, your photos, vaccination card, yellow fever and meningitis, which is incumbent, it is mandatory. You cannot get away from yellow fever and meningitis, and you need to make sure that you've got COVID vaccination as well. These are all optional that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I'm talking about the COVID, that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia could enforce as a mandatory requirement as well. Payment to the operator. All packages have terms and conditions. One such term is that the package, if the package is not fully paid, all balances on that package are subject to currency fluctuation. Our rand is very volatile, and one needs to understand that if you do not pay for your package in full and you're going to pay it in piecemeal, if the rand goes from where it is at the moment, 19, all the way down to 23, the operator has the right to charge you for when he's going to be doing the transfer after receiving your funds. And obviously vice versa as well. If the price comes down and he hasn't transferred, he's got to readjust his pricing in that particular regard. All we're saying is be cognizant of everything that is there. Muaz had made an indication to you that our rand is exceptionally weak. We know that. We know the economy is weak. And as a result of that, sometimes it's better to give the risk to the party that you are contracting with to do the necessary transfers into the kingdom, because all of us sitting here are not currency traders. And as a result of that, we need to be concerned and worried and make sure that our monies are safe. Once your monies are paid over to the operator will pay it into the Hajj system. And that Hajj system is basically where all your information, the contract between you and him, the contract between him or her and the hotels in Makkah, Medina and Azizia will be embedded into that system. Without complete process in the Hajj system, which is a Ministry of Hajj system, no visas can be issued. Sahuc system is a system of administration, and once it goes through that into the operator portal, then the work will start. And that is why we're starting early, inshallah, in order to make sure that people are aware and accustomed to the structures around what Hajj actually is required. I think I've covered everything, and I'm sure there'll be questions, and I will deal with questions and answers when they arise, inshallah. So I would like to thank every one of you for your attentiveness, and I hope, inshallah, that the information that we have imparted is going to be beneficial for you in order for you to have a smooth and less anxious journey for Hajj. Remember, Hajj is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Logistics is between you and your operator. Sahuc is there to oversee those logistics and to facilitate those logistics between yourself, the operator, the authorities in the kingdom, so that you can have a hassle-free journey and concentrate on your ibadah, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran, Uncle Shaheen, for that in-depth information on the process. And I think some of the key points we took from there is having a contract in place. Like you'd never give a blank check to your wife to go shopping with. Make sure you have a signed contract filled with all the details, inshallah. You know, when you're dealing with your operators. We'll give you an opportunity to deal with all the operators or go through the tables and interact with the operators after the program. We have one more speaker, Hafiz Ismail Kovadia, who's been the head of mission for Sahuc for the last 15 years, alhamdulillah. If there's anybody who has information on Sahuc and its processes and the medical team and the team on the ground, it will be Hafiz Ismail and his team. Without much delay, I'm going to call Hafiz Ismail to share some pertinent information.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, as well as the Salam Media viewers, Hilal TV, and the online streaming facility that has been provided today, I greet you with the greeting of Assalamu alaikum. Now, I don't want to go into too much of detail as far as the mission is concerned. As we all know, there is going to be a second road show, and inshallah that will take place once all the people have accepted the accreditation, and then we will go more into detail as to what the whole mission is all about. But today, I want the potential Hujjaj to understand the challenges that we had last year, and it's something that we're going to face all the time until we don't understand what is actually happening in the kingdom. Now, unfortunately, when you talk the truth, people tend to brand you as a rude person. They say you're obnoxious, you have no respect. I was on an interview with Radio Al Ansar, and I made a statement, and there was an outcry from the audience. And what did I say? I said that Hajj is not for sissies. Now, I want to speak on that, and I want to make you understand why I made that statement. And one of the biggest challenges that we have, I'm not so much worried about Jeddah, Medina, Makkah. Inshallah, we'll talk about that more in detail. But alhamdulillah, it's fairly comfortable. And also, before I go on to the 5 days, things have changed so dramatically in the kingdom. And it has become so much more easier to process the whole process of Hajj. For example, to get a visa nowadays. The other day, we were preparing ourselves for the protocol meeting. Within 10 minutes, we got our visa online. And there are many other enhancements that have taken place. And alhamdulillah, they're trying to make it as easy as possible. But there are certain challenges that is going to take a long, long time to overcome. And I need to make you people aware about that. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on now. And inshallah, I don't want to take too long because we want to complete this program by Isha. So I need to give you some time for question and answers. But one of the biggest challenges we have is on the 5 days of Hajj. And that is why I say Hajj is not for sissies. Hajj is tough. Hajj is difficult. Hajj is those 5 days. Not the 4 weeks and the 5 weeks that you spend in Medina and Makkah. That is basically a bonus. But the actual Hajj is 5 days. And that is where the actual test comes on the individual. Now, this year, we have implemented something new on the system. There is a disclaimer that we want to put in. We hope and pray, inshallah aziz, that it will be ready when you accept your accreditation. If not, we're going to ask the operator to make every Haji sign this disclaimer. And what is this disclaimer about? It is that you who is going to accept accreditation can perform Hajj unaided, without any help. You will be able to complete the rituals and the rites of Hajj. And the reason I'm saying that, and I'm going to just make a general statement. I'm not trying to undermine any particular operator as such, but I'm just making a statement. There was an operator that took plus minus about 1,000 pilgrims last year, and they had 80 people that were on wheelchairs. Out of that, the information that we got, only 18 people disclosed that they needed wheelchair assistance. Now you tell me, how is that operator going to do justice to those Hajis? And I think what is important as Muslims, we need to understand, when does Hajj become farz? And I don't want to go into this, I'm not a Maulana or anything, I don't want to pass a fatwa here, because I'll be on my way to Jahannam, because the guys will take me on. But the fact is that this is the reality and it's the truth. You need to be physically, mentally, spiritually, financially able to perform this particular ritual before Hajj becomes farz on you. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are wheelchair bound, if you are sick, please, I don't decide whether you must come for Hajj, because that's another accusation against me. That who gave you the right to decide who must go for Hajj and who mustn't go for Hajj? I'm just going to tell you about the challenges. You want to go? Our consciences are clear that we have made you aware about the challenges that you are going to face and the type of difficulties that you're going to face up. And if you feel you can handle those difficulties, subhanallah, go ahead and do it. But don't come back and cry foul. Because now we're covering our backs. I'm going to give you one example. There was a lady, obviously, as you all know, in Azizia, that you share accommodation. There's 4 people that live in a room, depending on what type of accommodation you take. We will talk about that again when we do the second awareness program. But this is an incident where there were 4 ladies in a room. The lady was very comfortable to do her shopping without any assistance. When she comes back from shopping, now she needs somebody to push her to go to the haram. Isn't that unfair? And then you expect other people to do, but when you wanted to do your shopping, you were quite comfortable. And then eventually it comes back to us. When I say it comes back to us, it comes back to Sahuc. I had a Haji that made a statement, Sahuc and the operator has let us down. Why? Because there was nobody there to push us. Sahuc is not there to push you, nor is the agent there to push you. So if you are going to book with any operator, you make this very clear, specifically those people who are incapacitated, who are sick, who are not able to perform Hajj on their own. Ask the operator, will they be able to assist? And that is why the disclaimer has been put in. If you sign the disclaimer and you say that you are able, and if something happens, God willing, hopefully it doesn't, in the kingdom, you fall, you jump off the plane, something happens to you, that's a different matter. But if you go with the precondition, and then you expect the operator or Sahuc to do the necessary, it's not going to happen. I want to make that absolutely clear. It's not going to happen. Don't blame the agent, don't blame Sahuc, because you are being pre-warned that don't come with preconditions. And if you are coming with the precondition, get clarity from your operator as to whether he will be able to facilitate you. If he can't facilitate you, Hajj is not for us for you. Don't go for Hajj. Because then you're becoming a burden to other people. Whether it's your fellow Hajjis, and whether it's your operator, and specifically when it comes to Sahuc. The whole system in Saudi Arabia, and that is by their own acknowledgement, as far as handicapped people are concerned, they are very far back. The buses don't have facilities for handicapped people. The train doesn't have facilities for handicapped people. In Mina, the toilets are not user-friendly for handicapped people. In Arafat, the same thing. Come to Muzdalifah to go to Mina. Generally, they promise you buses from Muzdalifah to Mina, but in all the years that I've been on the mission, it has never materialized. What the result is the Hajis got to walk from Muzdalifah to Mina. And it becomes a great challenge because there isn't people. By that time, most of the Hajis are tired. Why do we have this fit program, the program where fit for Hajj? Even people like myself and many of you here are not physically fit. That is why we're encouraging the people to come to this program so that you get used to the walking and the circumstances that we are going to face up there, so it will make it a little bit easier. And I'm telling you, we had an incident the year when Hashim Amla came for Hajj. Generally, I know a lot of people encourage the walking Hajj. From a Sahuc perspective, we don't encourage the walking Hajj, especially with the current situation. We are expecting in excess of 45 degrees in Saudi Arabia. It is very difficult. It is hot, extremely hot. Even fit people can't manage. So Hashim Amla took a walk from Azizia to Mina with the intention of doing a walking Hajj. Obviously, he had his sister and other females with him. When he came to Mina, he changed his mind and he took the bus from there to Arafat, and Arafat to Muzdalifah, and Muzdalifah back to Mina. Now, a man that is super fit, you all know that he's a cricketer, he could not withstand that situation. So guys like us that are not used to this type of situation, we are going to find it difficult. Now, can you imagine if you got a person that is incapacitated, the person that is handicapped? We had one Haji last year that came with one leg. How can he be facilitated? Specifically if the operator doesn't have the manpower. Unfortunately, the system only allows one worker for every 50 Hajis. So that's what they have. If they don't have the manpower, please don't expect miracles. And that is what I want to make very clear. We had a person that came with 4th stage cancer. Now, first of all, there's no oncology in the kingdom. But they just maintained they want to come for Hajj, and then the blame came. The operator told me this, that one told me that, Sahuc supposed to do this, and Sahuc didn't do that. It doesn't work like that. If the state doesn't have facilities for oncology, how is Sahuc going to provide that facility? Predominantly, as far as our medical facility is concerned, it is a primary health care. And I'm sure most of you understand what is primary health care. Anything over and above that, you get referred to the hospital. Now, if the hospital doesn't have the necessary equipment and facilities to treat you, who else is going to treat you? And people got this notion that if you got cancer, now you must go for Hajj. Brothers and sisters, I think what is very important for us to understand, the intention is more powerful than the action. We need to get that into our heads. And as South Africans, really, you know, the one minister made a very, very pertinent statement. To me, it was an indictment. And what did he tell us? He says, you South Africans are great people, man. You are fantastic people. You are people that are disciplined. You are people that do things the way you have to do. But there's only one problem, man. And what is that problem? You South Africans think you're the Ummah. Everybody else is not part of the Ummah. What does it tell you? It's an indictment on us that we are not prepared to share our facilities, especially with other nationalities. That is our major challenge. Brothers and sisters, if we're not going to change our mindset, we are living now in a democracy. We need to learn to share. One of the big problems that we had last year on Camp A, I don't want to undermine to say that the facilities were not right. Yes, there were challenges. But some Hajis made a statement. I cannot share with that particular person. I don't want to use the words because it's absolutely derogatory. Now, if we're not going to change our mindset, then please don't go for Hajj. Don't go for Hajj because you're going to understand that you are 2.5 million people from every denomination of the world. Black, brown, pink, yellow, purple, beige, every color is going to be there. We need to understand that we need to interact with these people. We need to work with them. We need to share our facilities with them, hoping that inshallah al-Aziz, through that little bit of interaction, Allah might just grant us a Maqbool Hajj. So I think it's important that we need to change our mindset. And again, I want to reiterate, I know I'm going to be sounding like a broken record, but those people that are physically disabled, those people that are wheelchair bound, those people that are old and that cannot manage on their own. Yes, if they got a person that is also on the list and is going to be a helper, no problem. Don't come to Sahuc and say, my father is 75 years old. I need a helper for him. So can you give us a visa for him to come? If he hasn't applied, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, that is the system. If he's applied, they will give him a visa. No problem. He can go and do whatever he wants to do. But if you don't have the capacity, you don't have the strength, you don't have the health, please refrain from coming. And if you're going to come by signing that indemnity, then you take responsibility for yourself. If somebody helps you, alhamdulillah. If somebody doesn't help you, you have signed that indemnity, you suffer the consequences. So I think that is important for us to understand. And that is now specifically the 5 days. Mina is difficult. For the 15 years that I've been on Hajj, there's never been a year where we never had a problem on the 8th of Zil Hajj in Mina. It is absolutely cramped. You sleep on top of each other, you walk on top of each other. You need to understand that is the reality of Mina. This year, they're even thinking about taking Hajjis straight from Azizia or Makkah into Arafat, bypassing Mina totally. If you do that with the South African, you'll be classified as a murtad. I can tell you that. Why? Because we have lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, and we make these type of statements. But be it as it may be, what I'm trying to tell you, there are challenges on Mina. And the challenges are going to be there this year as well. As much as we have raised this issue with the ministry, last year at the 11th hour, we didn't sleep for 2 nights fighting with the ministry because of lack of space on Mina. Even after all that, we still picked up problems. The other problem that we have in Mina, your cousin is coming on Hajj and he comes with a mujamala. Or your friend is coming on Hajj and he's on a mujamala. And we try and facilitate those mujamalas in those camps. This year, we are going to be absolutely strict. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do, but we're going to be strict. If you find anybody that is not supposed to be in that camp, he will be belittled and asked to leave the camp, because at the end of the day, you are taking somebody else's space who has paid for it. We can't keep on taking this flack all the time. We can't be belittled all the time. Really, we just can't. So we need to understand and we need to appreciate the fact that if you are not supposed to be in that camp, you are not going to be in the camp. Arafat is also a challenge. Last year we had a major problem. Yes, they've upgraded the tents in Arafat. They've made it nicer and smarter. They promised us monster aircons. Those aircons didn't tickle us because it was 50 degrees. So when there's 2 people inside the tent, the aircon works beautiful. You put 200 people, you can't breathe. So this year we are also telling the Muassasa, don't give us mattresses in Arafat. We don't want mattresses in Arafat because that limits the space inside the tent. So yes, again, like I said, after this, maybe people are going to say this guy is now very harsh, Like I told you before, when you talk the truth and you tell them what's the reality, then the people tell you you are rude. People say you are obnoxious. People say you got no respect. You can say what you want to say. I'm basically telling you what the situation is and what the situation is going to be. So you will remember that when you come to Mina and you come to Arafat and you come to Muzdalifah, you're going to say, you know what? That guy who I call rude told me the truth. So hopefully you will then understand what I'm telling you. So please, brothers and sisters, I'm not trying to discourage you in any way. I'm not deciding who must go for Hajj. I'm not telling, don't go for Hajj. You want to come with the wheelchair? You want to come with no legs? You want to come with 1 leg? That's your prerogative. As long as our conscience are clear, that we've made you aware and we've conscientized you about the challenges that you have. Any disabled person must understand it is going to be absolutely, for an ordinary person, it is difficult. For a person that is disabled, it is going to be very, very, very difficult if he doesn't have anybody to assist him. And if the operator doesn't have the infrastructure or the manpower, and if you sign the disclaimer, believe you me, you're going to have to hold yourself responsible. I hope and pray, inshallah, when we come to the second roadshow, I will go more into detail as to what is expected of Sahuc, what Sahuc will deliver, what we offer, and what we want to achieve. At the end of the day, believe you me, we as Sahuc, the ministry in Saudi Arabia, does not want anything to go wrong. The fact that Hajj takes place in itself is a miracle. So yes, there are going to be challenges. And the Hajj, if you look at the whole situation of Hajj and you analyze it from an Islamic perspective, it is based on sacrifice. Look at the incident of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hazrat Hajar alayhi salam, Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam. Everything is to do with sacrifice. So don't expect luxury. You're not going to have luxury. You're going to have to sacrifice. And it's 5 days. Out of that 5 days, basically 3 days. So if you can persist and accept what you're going to get there, inshallah aziz, you'll have a good Hajj. And let's not be complainers. Let us be part of the Ummah. Let us not be the Ummah itself. Once again, Jazakallah. I hope and pray I haven't hurt anyone's feelings. The idea was not to hurt anyone's feelings, but to tell you basically what to expect on the 5 days of Hajj. Jazakallah wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Shukran, Hafiz Ismail. Really appreciate it. You know, one thing I learned with Hafiz Ismail in all the years that I know Hafiz is quite senior. And sometimes in the meetings, Hafiz will remain quiet and not say much. But when Hafiz opens an amplifier inside him and starts speaking, you set up and take note. And that's experience and wisdom that's coming out. And most times, Hafiz is right. Alhamdulillah, shukran for that in-depth knowledge. Like we said, at the second roadshow, there's always a second roadshow prior to Hajj that we'll have around the country where in-depth information and details of the processes within the kingdom will be shared. We're going to go to a Q&A session. Munir, if you want to arrange somebody for the ladies section, there'll be a roving mic in the ladies section and a roving mic in the male section. Those who don't want to speak on the mic, I'm sure there's pen and paper. You can write your question down, give it to one of the Sahuc representatives there, and we'll answer your question. So feel free to ask any one of our panelists questions, or Uncle Shaheen, Hafiz Ismail, or Muaz, or any question that you want to ask, you're more than welcome. There's a mic going around. While we're waiting for your questions, Hafiz Ismail alluded to the Fit for Hajj. So at the entrance table, you have seen Fit for Hajj. It's a Sahuc initiative supported by the Qasam Corporation, African Muslim Agency, and Al Tali Foundation. And it's a program starting this weekend for 12 weeks. A fitness program, alhamdulillah, last year it started, and we had a good, overwhelming response from around the country. So you're gonna go to the table, put your name down, find out where they're having every weekend, where they're having these walks. And also they do, I think today you can also do, they check your vitals and do a medical, but you can put your details with them. Also, there's a help desk in front, a Sahuc help desk. Any information you want, please go to the Sahuc help desk, and you can interact with the staff at the desk. We're taking questions, inshallah. It's not an auction, so we don't have to bid for hands. Sisters, if you have any questions? Question? Okay. Oh, question.
Okay, the question is, how many accreditation lists are there, and when will each list be released? My husband and I are number 2400 in the queue. We have not been accredited in the first list. Will we be accepted for Hajj 2024? First of all, let's understand one thing. The first list that has come out is for the full accreditation of our Hujjaj. As cancellations or deferments come through, and once we have gone through queries that need to be entertained, we will then release a second list. So we can't give a time, but it will probably only be in the early parts of January. Now, the sister who has said that they were number 2400 in the queue, perhaps after we conclude here, it'll be a good thing to go to the help desk in the front of the hall and just give them your ID number or your application number, and they'll be able to tell you exactly why you may not have been accredited. Remember, one of the things that we also need to be cognizant about, we have expatriates living in South Africa that have got permanent residency in our country. But the quota that has been allocated to South Africa for those permanent residents are only 1% of the full quota, meaning 25 foreigners who carry foreign passports but have South African IDs will be accredited if we do not get an increase in the quota. So you may be falling into that category. If not, we need to see why you did not make part of the first accreditation list. So please go to the lady in the front who's got the help desk, and they'll try to assist you. Any other questions? Yes, sure. There's a gentleman here. In the front, 5 rows from the front, please. Okay, we'll take him and then we'll come to the gentleman in the peach. Bismillah, Shah.
Is the COVID vaccination compulsory?
Sorry, just stand up. I can't hear you.
COVID vaccination, is it compulsory?
At the moment, it is not. The COVID vaccination at the moment is not compulsory, but it, according to that list, not. Just check my document there. But they can make it compulsory at any time. What we're saying is, most of us, if not all of us, have taken the COVID vaccinations. make sure you've got your certificate with you. Just pass me that document, please. Oh, no, it's not here. It's in the car. Any other, the gentleman's got a question?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Shaim. If you received an SMS, if you haven't received an SMS but your name is on the list, what happens then?
Okay, the reason why you may not have received an SMS is you either changed your number or the number recorded in the system is not correct. What you do is you take your ID number and your application reference number, you go onto the system, log in as an applicant, and it will then inform you if you are accredited and you follow the acceptance rules of accreditation. Khair. Any other questions? Okay, please advise on the hygiene in Mina, especially for ladies. The hygiene in Mina, you know, it depends entirely on when we talk about hygiene, we're obviously referring to bathrooms. Last year we had 15 bathrooms for the men, 15 bathrooms for the females. Alhamdulillah, the mutawif that we are talking to, there are 2 of them, have indicated 24/7, round the clock cleaning facilities for those bathrooms. So inshallah, it will be, you know, hygienically acceptable, but at the same time, perhaps just have some detergent with you. There's a hose, clean it up if you need to. In terms of food, we have been catering with a company called Abu Jadail in the kingdom. Going forward, we don't know if that's going to be the same caterer or if we're going to have another. But alhamdulillah, the quality of the food was good. As Hafiz Ismail had said, there was challenges. We're going to have wobbles, but we've not had bad quality of food, alhamdulillah. Okay, someone's asking about providing more toilets. Sahuc doesn't provide the infrastructure in Mina. The infrastructure in Mina is provided by the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. And the key that one needs to ask ourselves is, do we compromise space for more bathrooms or do we try and find space? There's a video going around on social media where you'll see multi-story buildings that are currently being built in Mina. And inshallah, we make dua that we as South Africans and other people around the world will be able to house that, and that will then result in better facilities in terms of the bathrooms, inshallah. How soon will the second list come out? We've indicated that, inshallah, in the early part of January, because we've given the first applicants on the first list up to the end of December to make their selection, whether they're going to accept or defer their accreditation. Any other questions? If there are no more questions, Jazakallah khairan, Hafiz Hassan. Shukran jazilan to everybody once again.
It is sweet and short, alhamdulillah. We're going to ask, first of all, we want to thank everybody for coming through, inshallah, alhamdulillah. Thank you for coming for the first Hajj awareness program. As you know, there'll be a second one in Gauteng in the early part of next year, inshallah. Follow the Sahuc social media pages for updates regularly received from the kingdom. It's quite active. Information is dispersed there timelessly. After the dua, you have opportunity to meet with the various operators on both sides of the hall. I'm sure they'll be able to assist and guide and advise accordingly. Remember, there's a help desk at the entrance, as well as a Fit for Hajj table. I want to thank Hilal TV for broadcasting the Hajj awareness program, as well as Salam Media, as well as Par Excellence for carrying this on the social media platforms. I want to call Maulana Mahmoud Pando, the Deputy Chair of the Gauteng region, to render closing dua.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون وصل على سيدنا محمد كلما غفل عن ذكر الغافلون اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله ألف مرة ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح يا عليم ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا واخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت، خلقتني أنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت، أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت، أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. اللهم تب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Jazeelan, just want to thank the Gauteng region under the